Hello, we are live. Welcome to the Mindset Makeover. My name is Jade Sito. I am a coach who really loves to focus on helping people master their mindset, but also master their energy as well. So often I find that people have all the strategy in the world when it comes to creating the life or the business that they want that fulfills them on a soul level. But it doesn't matter how much knowledge and how much strategy you have. Often, if you don't have your mindset on board, if you don't have your subconscious mind on board, or if you are approaching your work or your career or your goals or your desires and passions with the wrong energy, you can really block yourself from creating success for yourself. So I like to help people overcome, firstly, their self-doubt. Self-doubt is one of the biggest blocks that stops us from achieving whatever it is. And I also like to help people overcome their fear of failure, overcome their fear of judgment, overcome their fear of rejection, so they can start taking action and cultivate confidence, so they can have more self-belief to create the desires that they want to create. So this masterclass is going to really focus on how to master your mindset, or how to give your mindset a complete makeover so you can cultivate more confidence and start taking action, which is going to help you move forward on your goals and help you move forward on your plans. So let's get to it. Let's get to the first lesson. People will only do what they believe they can do. Okay, so people will only do what they believe they can. All success is attributed to mindset. So I'm not saying that you don't need the strategy, or you don't need to know the sales funnels, or you don't need a business coach that's going to help you to create more sales or create more revenue in your business, or you don't need strategy in terms of overcoming some of your blocks if you are not motivated, or if you're stuck and you don't know what you want to do or where you want to go. However, success is attributed to your mindset. So if you are trying everything and you are still struggling to get the results you want, even though you know what to do, chances are that you need to work not only on your energy, but also on your mindset. So everyone has great potential, but whether or not they reach that potential in the first place really does depend on whether or not you believe that potential exists in the first place. Now, I don't know if you can relate, but for years and years and years, I didn't believe that I could live the life that I live now. If I'd have believed it, I'd have been more likely to go out there and make it happen. But the truth was, I didn't think it was a possibility from the reality of my life back then. So one thing that my clients, or one thing that gets in a lot of my clients' way, is a belief of what they think is possible for themselves. Okay. They tell themselves that they cannot do whatever it is they want to do. And it is for two reasons. Normally an internal deficiency. So I'm not clever enough. Maybe you think you're not smart enough. Maybe you think you're not smart enough. Maybe you think that, you just don't have what it takes. Or sometimes it could be an external barrier. So I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the things that I need to have it done, to get what I need to get done. So it's important for you that you understand that confidence really matters on whether you believe you can succeed or not. So confidence is not the loudest person in the room. Confidence is often the person who is willing to try regardless of the outcome. So regardless of whether they fail, regardless of the outcome, even if they don't get the result that they actually wanted, they're not afraid to take action and try. So this doesn't mean that they have to be totally confident they will succeed, because if you don't believe that you're going to succeed, then chances are you're not even going to try in the first place. Yeah. So that is the difference between somebody who is confident and somebody who is not confident. It's not somebody who's loud and outgoing. It's somebody who is willing to take action. This is what true confidence is, okay? It's a belief that you're able to succeed, and more importantly, you're capable of learning along the way. So there's three parts to confidence, okay? The first one is your competence. So it's your actual ability. Can you actually do the thing that you're trying to do? And the second is self-efficacy, and it's how much you believe in your ability. Because if you think about it, if you don't believe you're good, it doesn't matter how good you are, okay? If you don't have that belief, it does not matter how good you are. And the third thing is your mindset, which is what we're going to get into today. And it's your ability to believe how much you can learn, how much you can grow, how much you can get better at the thing you're trying to do. And this is a key ingredient to success, guys, because transformation, true transformation, comes from changing your mindset. So a person can be good at something. A person can believe or think they are capable. But if they believe their ability is set in stone, then they believe that they can never grow and they can never expand. And therefore, that is why people remain stuck. That is why they remain stuck, because they're not even going to try and change because they don't believe that they can. So developing a mindset of confidence, okay, developing a mindset and confidence this might be the key ingredient that is missing when it comes to showing up for your business or when it comes to putting your plans into action. Because maybe you have loads of plans and you have loads of great ideas, but being able to take action or being able to actually do the work that you need to do to put yourself out there is often not getting done because our mindset is just not in the right place, or we're approaching it with the wrong energy, or we're focusing on all the things that could go wrong or how far we have to go on our journey instead of focusing on all the things that we have done right so far and how far we've already come on our journey. So this is the real key ingredient. It's perspective. So it's having to believe that you have control over your life and you have to be willing to take action. And there's two underlying psychological principles when it comes to your mindset: locus of control and bias towards action, which is what we're going to cover in today's masterclass. So you're going to get loads from today's masterclass. If you sign up to my Inner Glow Up, it's a full 8-week transformation where we cover all 3 principles of confidence. We go deep into your limiting beliefs. We go deep into your self-doubts. We go deep into your behavior and avoidance mechanisms, that are the things that you're doing instead of doing the thing that you should be doing, the thing that you're using to avoid taking action on the thing that you really need to do to get you where you want to go. Okay, that we go so deep into that. But for today, we are going to look at locus of control and we're going to look at bias towards action, because you can get so much transformation just from working on these 2 things. This is going to be a game changer. And I'm giving you this class because I really want you to come away with something that's going to make an actual physical change in your life. So let's get into it. Locus of control refers to what you believe is and is not within your control. So some people feel like life is just happening to them. They feel like they're a victim of whatever it is that happens to them and they have no control over their life. This is what we call an external locus of control. So other people believe that they are in control of their lives. You know, even when something happens to them, and it appears to happen to them from the outside, something that they have no control over, a random act, they still are able to believe or see that they do have a little bit of power over the outcome. This is what we call an internal locus of control. And everybody varies how much control they think they have, depending on the different circumstances in their life. So I want you to think about your life now, and I want you to think about how you feel about things that happen to you. Are you just plodding through life thinking that things happen to you and you don't have any control over the outcome? So the question is, how do you develop an internal locus of control, but still feel empowered about your life? And this is where the second principle comes in. So this is where the psychological principle comes in that we call a bias towards action. Because if you feel like your life is totally outside of your control, you're unlikely to take action because you don't believe that it's going to make any difference. So your subconscious mind will self-sabotage. Your subconscious mind will find evidence to prove that you can't do it. Your subconscious mind will talk you out of dreaming big and talk you into staying small because you have a bias towards inaction in that situation. And this is why, even though we want the things that we want, unless your subconscious mind and your mindset is on board, you will self-sabotage even when you don't want to. And the tricky thing is that self-sabotage comes in many disguises. Often we talk ourselves into thinking that the thing that we're doing now is more important than the thing that we need to do, because the brain wants to stay comfortable. But we're going to get into that a little bit more later. Firstly, I just want to talk about how we overcome this. So I want to give you some wins in this masterclass. I want you to actually come out with something that's going to teach you how to overcome. So how to overcome not taking action when you feel that you don't have any control over your life. So you don't see the point in taking action. And this is what we call the 5-second rule. And this isn't my rule. This is something that's been used before. The 5-second rule is a tool that helps you practice taking action. Okay. It helps you practice taking action. And the goal is to normally act when you wouldn't. Okay. Normally act when you wouldn't. And this would lead you to show yourself and show your subconscious mind that when you act, even though you normally wouldn't, you do actually have more control than you previously thought. So therefore, this is a really, really powerful way to develop a bias towards action, meaning that you believe you are the type of person and you step into that role of being the type of person who takes action to influence their own life. We are not a victim. Life is not happening to us. We can make life happen for us and teach our mind that we do have more control than we actually thought. And we do have the power to create the life that we want to live and create a life that aligns with our soul and that fulfills us on a deep soul level, to live a life that is truly aligned with our soul purpose, that is authentic to us, instead of running around chasing other people's dreams and doing what we think we should be doing, or acting because we're scared, acting from a place of fear. And this is where the energy comes in. Like I say, I go really deep into all of this on the Inner Glow Up, where we go deep into energy, we go deep into mindset tools, and I go deep into practical tools. And I cover so much. We use human design, we use NLP, we use hypnosis, visualization. But for today's masterclass, I just want to keep it really short and not overwhelm you. So we are just really going into bias towards action and locus of control. And these are the two factors that really are going to help you understand why you're self-sabotaging, or maybe why your mindset is not working with you and is working against you. Because normally what happens is our actions and our words are not aligned with what we're asking the universe for. So there's this misalignment. So we really need to make sure that our actions are in alignment with our intentions and our desires, and getting into the deeper why of why we want the things that we want. Because sometimes wanting it is not enough to motivate us. There has to be a deeper meaning that is pulling us towards our desires. And that is what's really going to motivate us when we find ourselves dilly-dallying and procrastinating, and just not getting our shit done, to put it in a better word. So it will give you confidence. If you start to practice this 5-second rule and you start to show your mind that you can have more control over the outcome of your life, this is what will give you confidence. And the more confidence that you have, the more likely you are to take action. And therefore, the more likely you are to start taking risks, start taking leaps of faith, and start to really put yourself out your comfort zone instead of playing it safe all the time. Because transformation and the magic does not happen in the comfort zone. We have to step out into the unknown sometimes to create change. So there is one underlying psychological principle that is even more important for you to understand. And that is the ultimate ability that you have an internal locus of control and a bias towards action. And that is your mindset, guys. It's not just a belief, it's a mindset. It's a way of looking at your life. These people that have this mindset are more resilient. They're better at coping with failure. They're more likely to challenge themselves, and ultimately they are more confident. Those who do not have it are less resilient. They're poor at coping with failure. They avoid challenges that could reveal their flaws. So therefore they never put themselves in a situation where they could be open to judgment, or they could be open to criticism, or maybe somebody else might have an opinion about them, or, might have something to say about them. And how can you create a new life and create a business and put yourself out there in a way that really aligns with your authentic true self and gives you freedom and makes you feel peaceful to go out and live your life being who you are, if you are afraid of other people's judgments and other people's reactions? If you are afraid of failing, how will you ever push yourself to up level or create a better life, or expand or call into your life what you want? If you don't believe that you can, it's never going to happen for you. So this is why I say the mindset and the energetics are so much more important, that you get them in check first before you start working on your strategy. So now imagine that you've had a terrible day. You've spilt coffee down your shirt. You're on your way to work. You're getting a parking ticket. You're on your lunch break. Your boss calls you in the office. He starts telling you off. You've made loads of mistakes on your work. When you're having one of those days, guys, we've all had one of those days in the past. How do you react? Do you feel bad about yourself and just beat yourself up all day and tell yourself how clumsy and stupid you are, and that you're unlucky, and this always happens to me? Why does this always happen to me? And just accept, my life always goes like this? Or would you be upset, but then would you reflect and would you think about how you probably should have got a better travel mug? You should have been more careful about where you parked, and maybe you should have double checked your work before you gave it into your boss. Because how you talk to yourself on a daily day, how you talk to yourself every day when you come across situations like this is really going to tell you where your mindset's at. Because the growth mindset is the opposite way to thinking about a fixed mindset. So some of you might have heard it be referred to as abundance mindset, creator mindset, growth mindset. I love all those words, really strong, powerful words. So you can use a word that resonates with you, but also you have the opposite, which is a lack mindset, otherwise known as a fixed mindset. But often you might also hear it referred to as a victim mindset. And often we do get in victim mode and we become a real victim to our experiences that happen in our life. But experiences are neutral. It's the meaning that we give these experiences that shifts the perspective. And that is what controls how we feel and how they affect us. And therefore, that affects the behavior and the way we act and the way we see ourselves in the world. So the research behind the growth mindset or abundance mindset has been conducted by Carol Dweck, PhD. So she's a psychology professor at Stanford University. And in a nutshell, the growth mindset is a belief that your basic qualities, including your intelligence and your talent, can be cultivated through effort. This means that while people might be innately different with different aptitudes and different temperaments, the truth is that all aspects of a person's ability and personality can be changed regardless of where that set point is. Now, the lack mindset or the fixed mindset or victim mindset, on the other hand, is a belief that these same characteristics are fixed. They become locked in at a certain age, and this means that people are inherently more talented, more intelligent than others, and that's just the way it is and the way it'll always be. So if you feel like part of you believes that intelligence and talent is fixed, then you're probably not alone, because most people, let me just add this quickly, most people in the Western world believe this. We live in a world where we believe or we favor or are obsessed with natural talent. So in a fixed mindset or victim mindset world, you would believe that effort is a bad thing. So you might have found yourself telling yourself, oh God, like I shouldn't have to try this hard, you know? You'll think that someone who's trying really hard, maybe they should just give up. It shouldn't have to be that hard. You should be naturally good at it if it was for you or if it was meant for you. And that having to work hard at something is a sign that maybe you're not talented and that you're not highly intelligent, because if you would, it wouldn't be this hard. And as a result, people with this mindset, they don't challenge themselves. They don't like trying new things. They never develop their potential, and they only reach as far as their current abilities can take them, because they are trapped and they are stuck because they're worried about failing. So think about if you are stuck, or if you are feeling trapped, or you feel like you're just coasting, or you're just, you're going round on this hamster wheel of life and you're not getting off and you're not getting anywhere. Chances are, no matter how much you want it or how much you know what you need to do, knowledge and information is not enough to get you where you need to go. Your mindset is what's holding you back, because this is what is keeping you trapped. It means that if you fail, you believe you are a failure, and you actually start to take on that identity as a failure, and will often blame the outside world even when you do fail, or make excuses. So think about if you're making excuses, or if there's always someone else that you can blame. A growth or a abundance mindset, however, these people or people with this mindset believe that that the more effort they put into something, whether it's practicing or learning, the better. So just because they have to put more effort, they don't look at that as a bad thing. The way a fixed mindset person would, they think, oh, that's even better, because they love it. They love learning. They know that they'll become good at it, and they see it as a sign that they can work harder, and they have little need to prove to the world or have anyone tell them or have to know how good or amazing they are or how talented or intelligent they are. And instead, they're on a never-ending quest to continuously grow and improve, no matter what the outcome. They enjoy the challenge. They look at it as an opportunity to learn. And even when they fail, they don't see it as failure. They look at that as a lesson and an opportunity to learn. They will always look on the bright side, you could say, or they'll always look at the silver lining in a cloud, or, always look at the strength in a struggle. And even though they don't love failing and they don't like it, they never believe they are a failure just because they failed. They see failure as a learning experiences, and they find joy in learning. Going back to what I was saying about, a natural talent. Like, imagine you had two tennis players and they both had an equal level of ability, okay? But they were going to be competing in a match, and one you was told had to work or train 10 hours a day, but the other one didn't have to train at all. Who would you expect to win? Be honest. Who would you expect to win? Because most people tend to favor the person who is naturally good at it. Most people tend to naturally favor somebody who was not having to work 10 hours a day. So I'm going to go straight into how we can actually change our mindset. Okay, we don't have to. If you were someone who has realized that you are more of a fixed mindset, or you was more the person A, don't worry, because everything can be relearned. Change in your brain, we can rewire our thoughts. Everything we have done is learn. And just like a muscle in the gym, when you go to a gym and you train and your muscles get bigger, you can also train your brain to do the same thing. This is what we call neuroplasticity. So the brain is made up, basically, just give you a quickly biology 101. The brain is made up of billions of tiny little nerve cells called neurons, and they're all connected together through a network of over 1 trillion tiny little branches made up of dendrites and receivers and axons and transmitters, and they're all communicating to each other. So every time we think or act, it's because these neurons are sending signals to each other. And whatever they need to send, they are triggered, okay, by a little chemical. But either way, these neurotransmitters are responsible, or these signals are responsible for every step that we take, everything that we do, whether it's your heart beating, whether it's a breath, whether it's moving your finger. These signals are sent from the brain to our body. So we have all these little neurons that fire together in these wires. And you might have heard a phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together, because the ones that are connected in a little chain of networks and the ones that we use the most, the more they fire together, the stronger these connections become, okay? The stronger they become. And it's a bit like, imagine you've got a wire, like an electrical wire with a rubber casing around it, coating it. Imagine we have this myelin sheath that covers these networks and these connections, and every time we use them, they get stronger and bigger. So the more that we do it and the stronger and bigger they get, the faster and faster these signals become. Because the brain has one primary goal: efficiency and to keep us alive, survival. So when we keep repeating an action or a habit over and over and over again, that particular pathway that is responsible for that action becomes stronger and stronger and faster, and it becomes easier and easier to communicate. So this is how we develop skills. This is how we develop new habits. This is how we develop new patterns. This is how we learn new things. But it is also responsible for our negative habits and all our little bad habits and our little negative thought processes. So whether the outcome is good or bad, I want you to understand that whatever you do repeatedly physically changes the network connections in your brain. So the more that you practice something negative, the more that you're going to do it. But the more that you practice something positive, the more that you're going to do that. So scientists have found that this process actually makes your brain grow. It grows. It actually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So for years and years, we used to believe that at a certain age, the brain stopped growing and we lost that ability, and it was capped at a certain age, which is where that old saying comes from. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's an old saying that has been disproven. We now know, and we now have evidence to prove that we can be learning new skills, new things, and develop new habits up until we are in old age. So even though most people believe they are born smart or dumb, we've been tricked into believing this because, even though there are minor variations in people, we can grow and we can learn new connections, which means we can always evolve and get better. The truth is that intelligence can be grown like any other physical capability that you have, such as improved exercise. It can be grown exactly the same. So now that you know that you can change your brain and you can practice a new skill, guys, over and over again, and you can increase your exposure and you can increase your experience repeatedly, and your brain can go stronger and stronger and stronger, and you can develop new habits, okay? Now that you know that you can develop new habits and you can change whatever negative habits have been holding you back so far. We now know, I've shown you that you can change that. People that drive cabs have larger hippocampuses because cab drivers have to remember the roads, and the hippocampus is responsible for memory. So people that drive cabs, the hippocampus actually is bigger. So, ask yourself, what are you doing to grow your brain? Are you doing anything on a daily basis? Are you doing any mindset exercises? Are you integrating new habits into your life? Or are you just coasting and getting by and wondering why you're not creating the life that you want to create? Because you're self-sabotaging and holding yourself back because these old habits are ruling your behaviors every day. So what areas are you simulating? What areas are you not simulating? What are you doing to make yourself learn more and get better? True growth is a learning tool to learn new strategies. Okay, so just by doing the same thing over and over again, you can learn new strategies. So in my inner glow up, I also want to provide you with all the tools, all the strategies, and all the insights into your thoughts and your behaviors as to why you've been behaving the way you have, and find out those blocks, why you're actually self-sabotaging yourself, why you're doubting yourself, where these doubts come from, where did they originate from, and really questioning why you believe them and pulling these stories apart of the same stories that you've been telling yourself as to why you can't be or do what you want. Learning strategies for recognizing patterns and identifying all these beliefs that influence the way you feel and the way you think about yourself. Because sometimes we really don't have a good relationship with ourselves, and that is what's holding us back too. Because then we don't believe we are worthy, or we deserve our desires, or we don't believe that we can have what we want. So I want to just go into a little bit now on the last, sorry, a little fly on the last bit of this masterclass. I just want to go into how you can actually change your mindset, okay? How you can actually change that mindset, how you can actually implement the information that I'm giving you, how you can actually implement the information that I'm giving you on this masterclass into your life. So this is where we're going to get really practical, okay? So this is the practical bit. This is the powerful bit. I didn't want to just give you a masterclass with loads of information that you couldn't take and implement and use into your life. So I want you to pick something that you know is holding you back for the rest of this. Or maybe you can use it for all of your life, or maybe you can use it for your business, or maybe you can use it for your career, or maybe you can use it for your relationships. But for the purpose of this, I want you to pick something that you know you're really struggling with that's keeping you up at night, and keep that in mind while we work through the last few minutes of this course, okay? So developing this growth mindset is believing or beginning with a choice that you want to believe in the growth mindset, and you want to know that it exists in the first place, because it is really hard to sometimes overcome our old way of thinking. And sometimes we tell ourselves that we could never do that, or we could never be that person. Now, I used to look at girls that were really fit into fitness, and I wasn't really into that because I've not always been like this. I went through a huge transformation where I didn't believe myself. I always didn't believe in myself. I always made promises to myself and I never followed through on them. I would always want things and I would never have what it takes to do it, because I didn't believe that I had what it takes to live that life that I want to live. And I always sabotaged my efforts every single time. I always messed up. And then I'd get really disappointed and really angry and really upset with myself because I'd let myself and other people down time and time again. And it used to keep me up at night, and I felt like a disappointment. And the more that I felt like a disappointment, the harder that it became for me to show up for myself. And it was only when I realized that I had to work on my mindset, and it was like me that was the problem. I didn't have enough self-belief and self-worth to believe that I deserved to be happy, or I could be the person that I wanted to believe. And I sabotaged myself over and over again. And I went round in circles and circles and circles, always confused as to why I was never seeing change. And in turn, I only developed more self-doubt, and I only developed more fear that I was going to let people down and fail again. And I was going to look stupid. And I was so afraid of what people thought, because I really cared, because I didn't have any knowledge or or knowing of who I was as a person and what made me happy. So what I did, I was going around and I was copying other people, and I was looking at other people's dreams, and I was chasing other people's dreams, and I was really trying to just model my life on what I thought I should be doing by getting a job in an office, by going and doing recruitment, by doing sales, by thinking that I needed a corporate career to be successful. And I wondered why I never ever was happy. And no matter what I tried, I never ever got anywhere different. I always got the same result over and over and over again. I always ended up disappointed because I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't following what made me happy. I was doing what I thought I should be doing, and my mindset wasn't on board in my subconscious mind. So I didn't really believe that I deserved it. I had what it takes. I was worthy, or I was capable, or smart enough, or any of the above. So therefore, I messed up every single time. I didn't believe in it. So you have to believe that it is possible for you to develop this mindset, and this mindset exists before you can actually make the change that you need to make. And it's really important that I get this clear now. If you don't believe it exists, then you're not going to get anywhere. So it's important that you accept that, everybody has these mindset tendencies, but only accepting that they're there and that you need to change your mindset tendencies can you start to actually change them. Nobody is 100% fixed or growth. We can be both. So the first step is awareness. And this is awareness of your self-talk. So let's get into the first exercises of this masterclass. Your fixed mindset triggers. Okay, everybody has an internal dialogue or narrative, a voice that speaks up, an inner critic, an inner hater, somebody who is your inner doubter. And this is what we call a fixed mindset persona. Okay, it's that negative self-talk, and it happens in your thoughts and it happens in your mind. And it can sound like this: I'm not good enough. I will probably fail. I can't do this. I don't want to risk it. I shouldn't have to try so hard if I'm not naturally good at this. That's a good one. I should just quit. It's not my fault. This makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not doing it. Why try if it won't change anything? Okay, so I want you to really remember that. And it's not a villain. It's not a villain, okay? Its job is to protect you. But unfortunately, it's learned faulty methods in doing that. Its beliefs are limited and they are holding you back. So the good news is that you can be aware, or you can become aware of how this fixed mindset persona acts and how it impacts you and how it impacts your life. And then you can take away its power. You can teach it the growth mindset persona, and you can give your fixed mindset persona an actual name. So naming your fixed mindset persona is really powerful because it gets you into the habit of thinking, that's not me talking. Just because that voice is talking, it's not who you are. It's your ego. It's your fixed mindset. It's your victim mindset. It's your inner critic, your inner doubter, your inner hater. So firstly, give your fixed mindset a name and identify your triggers and the situations where your fixed mindset tends to speak out. Okay. So bring in awareness. Awareness is key to everything, because like I said, when you hear this dialogue, when you start to notice how your fixed mindset talks to you, I'm not good enough. Oh, what's the point? What's the point? And you might find that it starts to speak up when you're taking on or thinking on about taking on a big job. What situations does your fixed mindset pipe up? Is it when you're thinking about making a change? Is it when someone criticizes you? Is it when you fail at something or when something goes wrong? Do you beat yourself up? Or do you blame someone else when someone else makes a mistake? Do you blame them? Is it all their fault? Do you judge them or do you criticize them? And when you're under pressure or on a deadline, or when you procrastinate or you're feeling lazy, or when you have conflict with someone, or your reputation is at risk, or you worry about what other people think, start to notice and bring awareness in what situations you start to speak negatively about yourself or to yourself, and your fixed mindset starts to pipe up. Okay, so step 2. When you've done that over the next few days, I want you to really start to do that, okay? I I've attached a worksheet as well, so you can actually work through the worksheet as well. So I want you to just journal this out. The second step. Notice your reaction. Notice your reaction in a situation when you challenge yourself or when you're criticized. Notice your reaction when you feel judged or when you feel unworthy or you feel threatened. Ask yourself, am I rationalizing or am I judging this situation? How am I beating myself up? Am I blaming others? What is my fixed mindset persona telling me? So let's use this example. I'm going to give you an example so it's really easy for you to understand. But imagine you're looking for a new job and you found the perfect position and you're so sure that you're going to get this job that it's the only one that you've applied to. But then you get a rejection letter in the mail. And your first reaction is to comfort yourself, telling yourself that, the company had loads of qualified applicants and that they also got rejection letters. But then your fixed mindset persona sneaks in and tells you to stop fooling yourself. The truth is that the hiring manager didn't think you were qualified because you are not qualified. Or maybe they think you're not smart enough. Or maybe they think you're not good enough. Or maybe they're not smart enough to see how perfect you are. Notice when you're starting to blame someone else. And notice in this example, you started off with a very reasonable explanation. Other people got rejection letters, but then your first reaction was to be nice and be compassionate. But your second reaction, your self-doubt and your fixed mindset persona kicked in and it sabotaged you. So now that you know what a growth mindset is and why it's such an important belief system, you can start to practice this way of thinking. Bring awareness into your self-talk and your fixed mindset triggers. Everybody has an internal voice. You're not alone. We all have this internal voice. And on an inner glow up, it's so good and it's so great because you actually get to realize that you're not the only one going through this and that other people go through it as well. Because when we compare ourselves to other people, I want you to remember that you're not seeing their inner fears, you're not seeing their inner demons, and you're not seeing their inner worries and stresses. All you're seeing are the bits of them that they want you to see. So just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they aren't there. So when you're comparing yourself to someone, it's not authentic because you don't have anything to compare them to. So notice when your doubter and your fixed mindset persona is piping up. And you can hear it within your negative self-talk that happens, by saying, I'm not good enough, I'll probably fail, it's not my fault. All those negative patterns of speaking and those negative patterns of thought, start to write them down. So the second step is perspective. Perspective, because we all have bad things that happen to us, yeah? Life is happening. Sometimes things happen that are outside of your control, but it's not the situation itself that determines how you react. It's your perspective and how you choose to view that situation and react to that situation. Because we always face setbacks, okay? And we might have setbacks that discourage us, and we might have setbacks that make us feel unmotivated, and we might have setbacks that knock our confidence, because that happens in life, However, it's not the situation that knocks you, it's your perspective and what you choose to give to that situation in itself. So now, how can we relate this? Yeah. You know about your growth mindset. So you get to choose how you view each situation, whether you view it from a fixed mindset or you view it from a growth mindset, whether you view it from a victim mindset or whether you view it from a creator mindset. Do you look at it as in, oh my God, I'm lacking, I'm crap, I'm not intelligent, I'm rubbish, I'm not good at that, I'm stupid? Or do you look at it as, this is evidence that maybe I should apply more effort and maybe change up my strategy and try again? There's a lesson here. So when you think about the power of your thoughts, they are so, so powerful in creating your reality. The energy that you approach your life and your work is so, so powerful when it comes to creating your physical reality. Cognitive behavior therapy is a really popular, effective form of therapy because it teaches people how to change their perspective on all the negative things that have happened to them in their life. So we're going to start to use CBT on ourselves to make a shift so we can start to view our experiences from a more beneficial point of view and a more empowering view by using the words that we use, by using your language. For example, the word foul, it brings up so many emotions and fears. So think about the words that you use. So the word fail to a fixed mindset person is the ultimate worst case scenario because it means that they are ultimately a failure. But the truth about failure is that as long as you learn something along the way, then it never really is a failure. It is only a failure if you do not try in the first place. Imagine you've got a mountain and you're starting at the bottom of the mountain, okay, and you get halfway up and you get back down to the bottom. And then you get halfway up and you get back down to the bottom. If you don't go halfway up and you stay at the bottom, you're failed. You're exactly where you started. So not starting and not trying is failure. Trying and not getting the outcome that you want is not failure. That's learning, that's evolving, and that's growing. And shifting your perspective on that one factor is going to be so powerful if you are not succeeding when it comes to following through on your plans and you're self-sabotaging yourself. So, there's loads of famous failures. Walt Disney was fired from a job because he lacked imagination. Steven Spielberg was rejected from his cinema school. Next time you hear yourself thinking or saying the word fail, I want you to replace that word with learn. It's going to be such a powerful shift for you. Such a powerful shift for you. It's going to help you reframe the situation and help you find the blessing hidden in what seems like a curse. And the next time you find yourself catching the word or catching yourself thinking or saying, I'm not good at this, I want you to add the word yet. So you let your mind know that although you don't have the ability to do this now, it doesn't mean that you won't. And you're telling your unconscious mind that you can develop the ability and you can give it a command and it will immediately go out and start learning and finding ways to develop, learn and grow. This is the power of your words. So when you catch yourself in your fixed mindset persona with a limited thought, ask yourself what else might be going on here. When you catch your fixed mindset persona with a limited thought, use your previous examples and talk yourself into feeling better. You can notice how you're beating yourself up. You can tell yourself by telling yourself that you don't care what other people think. You don't care what other people think, that you know what you have to offer. And besides, you'd rather work for a company that appreciates you anyway. And a better job is out there for you and a better job is coming along, Ask yourself what is going on out there. There are plenty of other options. There are plenty of other jobs. You don't need to beat yourself up and tell yourself that you're rubbish. Maybe you could have applied to more than one job. So if you find yourself blaming someone else, like for in the example earlier, like the hiring manager, remind yourself that your power lies in your ability to take responsibility. Tell yourself that you knew you shouldn't have put all your eggs in one basket. You should have applied to more jobs. You could have written a better cover letter. Instead of beating yourself up about all these things that have gone wrong, like you normally would, start to take responsibility about things that you could have done differently. And that's when you're going to start to move and step into a growth mindset. Because step 3, the final step of this masterclass, is the key ingredient here. Because everything we've covered up to now is only going to help you feel better in the moment. If you want to create long-lasting permanent change and you want to learn from your experience and accomplish your goals, here are some other examples of how you could rephrase your fixed mindset. Okay, to be more of a growth mindset perspective, thinking about being on the lookout for any time you hear your fixed mindset persona talking a really negative dialogue, okay, such as the reactions or the triggers that you've written down in the last form. So all the things that you wrote down in the last 2 exercises that I've spoke about. So noticing your awareness, noticing your reaction in this situation, okay. I want you to change your perspective. So when you hear yourself thinking something like, oh, what could go wrong? What if I'm not good enough? I'll be a failure. I want you to change it to, in your own words, of course, everybody starts out not being good. Successful people fail all the time. When you hear yourself thinking, if it's this hard, you're probably just not good at it. I want you to change it to, if it's hard, it means I need to put more effort in. And it will be a great achievement when I get good at it. When you hear yourself thinking, if I don't try, I can't fail and I'll keep my dignity, I want you to replace it with, if I don't try, I've already failed and I have no dignity. When you hear yourself thinking, it's not my fault, I want you to change it to, if I don't accept whatever part of this is my responsibility, I am giving away my power. So now I want you to go back through all your fixed mindset triggers, all the ones that you identified when your fixed mindset persona or your victim mindset tends to tell you how bad you are at stuff. And I want you to rewrite a new thought from a growth mindset perspective and replace it. Keep in mind that the more that you catch your fixed mindset persona of the act of being naughty and playing up, the easier it's going to become. Okay, the easier it's going to become for you. This might not be easy at first. It's going to take a while. Your ability and your awareness to shift your perspective increases over time. Like anything, like you go to the gym, it takes time, it takes consistency. It's showing up, it's being consistent for yourself every single day. Like anything, okay, it takes time. You have been carrying these negative beliefs and this negative self-talk and these negative habits and these habits of beating yourself up every time everything goes wrong for a really long time. They're really deeply ingrained, okay? We start to develop our beliefs at the age of 7 years old. The subconscious mind starts to develop beliefs about the world we live in from 7 years old, okay? So don't judge yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you catch yourself messing up or when you catch yourself doing it and tell yourself, I'm not supposed to be doing that, okay? I just want you to start to notice when you're doing it. Notice and remind yourself when it's happening that you do have a choice. You do have a choice. Now, this is where I want you to start taking action, okay? You do have a choice, and this is where I want you to start taking action. So from here, you might have noticed that you've got a few limited thoughts, okay? You might want to start changing your perspective, okay? But where you really want to create change is where you need to make a plan. It's the most important factor when it comes to developing your fixed mindset or your growth mindset and moving away from a mixed mindset, because it's not just a way of living. It's not just a mindset. It's a way of living. Okay. Everything that is living is growing, and everything that is growing is moving. So understanding your growth mindset is only part of the process. You need to have a willingness to try and take the next step to move forward, okay? Because it's not just about taking action. It's about taking the right action from a growth mindset perspective. So in this example, as you can see that I gave you earlier, applying for a job, you could have told yourself or identified all the things that you could do differently next time. And you could have got someone else to read over your cover letter and help you. You could have done more research on the company. You could have done loads more things to get your CV or resume to the top of the pile. You could have put together more effective strategies, and you could have done a lot more than what you did, okay? So there are things that you could do. You could have committed to applying to at least 10 jobs by the end of the week. Okay, you could ask yourself, what did you learn from that experience and what could you do differently moving forward next time? You could vow to do something differently or take action all you want, but nothing will happen if you do not start to put your goals into a plan. So list out the steps that you want to take, okay? For each identifier, for each, that shouldn't say for all, for each, identify exactly what you will do, if anything, on your list, and make it happen within 1 week, okay? I want you to make it happen in 1 week and save it for later and reassess at the end of the week. For everything else, if you can't do it by the end of the week, I want you to write a new date of when it's going to happen. So, first step was awareness. Bringing awareness to your fixed mindset and negative talk and the situations that it occurs and the triggers. The second step was shifting your perspective, but now I want you to make a plan. I want you to make a plan of action moving forward. So I hope this was really, really helpful. I hope this was really helpful for you. Try not to overwhelm yourself by applying this to all the different things in your life. Try and pick the thing that's keeping you up at night, the thing that you're struggling more with, the thing that is holding you back the most, and apply these 3 steps and notice how that shifts. Notice the language that you start to speak with yourself. Notice the way you talk to yourself, and notice how you start to view yourself and your place in the world moving forward. And I just want to add that if you want to go deep into this, if you found this helpful, if you found this really, really insightful into some of your behaviors, some of your habits, and maybe why, you're not getting quite where you want to be, maybe it's because your mindset isn't on point or your energy is in the wrong place, then sign up to my Inner Glow Up. It's an 8-week transformation plan where we go through everything in detail. So we go through module 1, why you're here, what you're here to do, how you're here to do it, getting really clear on your message, getting really clear and authentic on what is your true north, understanding how you might be letting other people influence what you want, because often we're influenced by things that we think we should be doing, and then getting really clear on your energy and your blocks and your limiting beliefs that are holding you back. So we're going to go deep into self-doubt, fear of rejection, fear of failure. We're going to go into hesitation, hiding from the world, feeling helpless or being really hypercritical of your own work. We go into giving your pain a purpose, overcoming all the struggles and how we can shift our perspective on all those struggles, how to build self-efficacy, how to build competency, how to build a growth mindset and move away from a lack mindset, and actually putting plans into action. We use so many tools. I have so much. It's a multi-dimensional approach. We go deep into hypnosis. We go deep into NLP. We go deep into visualization and manifestation to really start creating a life that you want and really overcome those blocks so you can start to become more confident and tackle life with more self-belief. So you can start taking action and you can start making decisions and tapping into your own intuition. So you don't have to always rely on other people for guidance, because often we make decisions, we have creativity, we have inspiration, we have ideas, but we don't follow through on them because we don't believe in our own ability to make those decisions. We don't know how to tap into that inner wisdom and how to tap into that inner guidance that comes from our higher self and connecting through source and tapping into our soul and what our soul is here to do, what our soul purpose is, what our soul's desires are. Because if you have a desire, it is meant for you. It is because it is for you. The only thing that is standing in your way is you. You just need to get out of your own way and remove some of these blocks and remove some of these limiting beliefs that are standing in your way. So limiting beliefs, blockages on an energetic and a practical mindset level is what we're going to go deep into this Inner Glow Up. So I'm going to pop all the information in the link. All the information is in the link below. If you have any questions, always contact me. This Inner Glow Up is now ongoing. You can sign up at any time. You get 8 weeks, a course for life. You get added onto the course for life with all the modules, all the course material, all the exercises, everything's there for life. I update it every few months, so you get all the updates for life. And every week we have a live coaching call where we overcome all the beliefs that come up, any resistance that comes up for you. We do a lot of energy healing, a lot of energy work, and where we do the practical kind of hypnosis, visualizations, and we start to really work through it. So I don't want to keep talking about the Inner Glow Up for too long, but this is my baby and I've put everything into this and I've changed so many women's lives. So many women, I've helped so many women with this, and I know that I can help you too. So if you are interested in learning more about the Inner Glow Up, click on the link below. And if you want to book a free discovery call with me where we can talk about how I can help you move through some of your blocks, how I can help you overcome some of your struggles, how I can help you cultivate more confidence and more self-belief, overcomes your self-doubt and your self-fear. So thank you for joining me for this masterclass. It has been absolutely lovely talking to you. I am so passionate about this stuff. I could talk all day about it, but I'm quite aware that we've been on the call for about 50 minutes already. So I want you to really get going and getting stuck in with the work. Start looking this week, make a journal and look at all the different triggers and all the different things that are coming up for you. And once again, sending you lots of love.